This is only discussing the visual telepresence of Televisual Portal mirror world topology. And by visual, I mean either real or virtual. There could either be a real presence or a virtual telepresence. Um, okay, to start with in this chain is the outside world, which is real. Then the outside world feeds into the cloaking interface, which is virtual. The cloaking interface feeds into each other's real holodeck. We'll call this Bob and Alice. The real holodecks feed into the virtual holodecks, where their virtual selves are scanned and taken into virtual holodecks. Then there's a transmitting and receiving cyclic recursion, where each other's real self or virtual self is put into the other's holodeck, and then it goes back to the virtual holodeck for Bob's instance. But for Alice's, if it's her chosen preference of sceneries, holodeck sceneries, then it feeds right back into the cloaking interface that takes in the outside world, since invisibility and holodecks are inverse related, and it converts it into her holodeck again, which takes his virtual self in her holodeck and his holodeck in her environment and brings it into her holodeck. And now both of their bodies are being overlapped by their virtual selves, their virtual images. And this cyclic recursion continues. It continues up into his holodeck, virtual holodeck, but it continues all the way into her cloaking interface, which feeds in the outside world in an inverse invisible holodeck relationship. But if it was his, it would feed into his cloaking environment, into his holodeck, and it would begin this oscillating chain of mirror worlds again, where she would feed into her virtual holodeck and eventually into his real holodeck and virtual. So it's all a chain of mirror worlds, virtual and real. And it's a struggle between the real world and the virtual world. And at the core of all of this, I believe that this backs up my claim that cosmic portals must be capable of becoming completely virtual from the televisual real world through this oscillating mirror world. Topologies must be capable of completely becoming virtual.